Good evening, I'm Adrienne Arsenault.
And I'm Andrew Chang. Tonight, desperation is growing in Haiti, 5 days after a devastating earthquake.
There's absolutely nothing in this hospital. I mean, the beds are full, the cupboards are empty.
Frantic hospitals and growing crowds of people left without help. The fears, it could get worse.
Prices through the roof and no end in sight.
There's no deals. There won't be any deals on cars.
What's behind the highest inflation spike in a decade?
The sex trafficking trial of disgraced singer R. Kelly begins.
It will be impossible to discount those women as liars or gold diggers.
The charges he's facing and what we're likely to learn.
And the Filipino-Canadian chef taking on New York City.
That is actually our biggest asset. We can serve things that none of y'all have ever had.
His plan to get Filipino cuisine its very first Michelin star. This is The National. In Haiti, the wounded and weary survivors of a powerful earthquake grow more desperate by the minute. Their hope for care and comfort is fading fast.
Since the quake struck on Saturday, the mounting death toll now approaches 2,000. But on top of that, there are scenes of endless suffering among the injured. The help and supplies just aren't getting through to meet the crushing need. We'll find out more about why that is in just a moment. But first, Ellen Morrow is once again on the ground in Les Cayes to take us through yet another exceptionally difficult day in a country with far too many of them.
A little boy in a muddy field building a shelter for his family. This is Haiti, 5 days after the earthquake. Hundreds languishing in misery and squalor under the blazing sun. Their homes destroyed, their spirits breaking. We're not receiving any aid, Felicita Delem tells us. She's angry, she says, because this is abuse and injustice. Children somehow show the resilience they so often do. But among the adults, there's little hope here that this suffering won't continue. The growing fear is that it will only get worse, with little sign of any coordinated effort to bring help. This woman fled her home with her mother and brothers before it collapsed. Where I'm sitting is where I sleep, she says. I slept in the rain. I have nothing to eat, nothing to drink. So much despair, and it isn't even the worst of it. Nearby, the injured, barely treated since the earthquake struck, are still arriving at a local hospital. The facility is completely overwhelmed, hard even to find a bed for a man crying out in pain.
Is there no beds in the home?
None. They're all been taken up.
You know what? What do we put him on this bench right now?
As they struggle with where to put him, an aftershock, and he's moved out from under the roof onto the grass for safety. Just one more layer of difficulty for the traumatized and those trying to help.
There's absolutely nothing in this hospital. I mean, the beds are full, the cupboards are empty, and we need as much as we can get.
This man's 6-month-old baby was killed. His daughter has a broken collarbone, but after hours of waiting, they still hadn't seen a doctor. Hopefully they can fix my child, he says. Doctors here know this is only the first wave of the earthquake's victims.
This week, trauma. Next week, psychology. So I'm sure that we will need psychology come here to see our people. And after 1 month, nutrition program.
But now the focus is this, the most desperate of work, the fight to save lives forever scarred by this tragedy.
Ellen, so heartbreaking to see the daunting logistics holding back aid efforts. What other complications are there in getting help to where it's needed most?
Well, Andrew, there are several other issues emerging here. One is a lack of resources. Another is a lack of central coordination overseeing this relief effort. And that coordination issue does come down in part to the political situation here in Haiti. Remember, the president of Haiti was assassinated just last month. There is a prime minister who's taken over, but there is also a leadership vacuum here. We talked to one man in Les Cayes, near a crack in the earth that was caused by the earthquake. And he was so upset, telling us that in his view, the problem with not enough aid getting to these people is that there isn't, in his words, a real government in Haiti. He also, Andrew, described to us how it's becoming harder and harder and harder every day to have any hope.
Ellen Morrow, lots more work to do. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Turning to Canadian news now, we are, of course, in the midst of an election campaign, and front of mind for many Canadians is the fast-growing cost of living. Inflation surged last month to an annual rate of 3.7%. That is the highest in a decade. Cam McIntosh looks at what's behind it.
They have a 2010 Honda CR-V.
Auction day. Used car dealer Tom Renville is watching, but not bidding.
$6,700 it sold for.
Used cars, short in supply, high in demand, being snapped up well over their estimated value.
You can buy them, you can get in, but if you wanted some cars, particular ones, it would be tough. It's tough to get at. So there's no deals. There won't be any deals on cars.
During the pandemic, vehicle production slowed. Add in the microchip shortage, and the cost of cars rose a biting 5% over last year. It's one of the main drivers of rising inflation, up 3.7% across the economy year over year compared to last July. That's the highest spike in a decade. High tariffs on imported furniture are also driving the increase. Food prices remain somewhat stable, but then there's the price of homes, up a whopping 13.7% year over year.
The demand for housing is up and inventory gets purchased fairly quickly. Building materials have been in short supply and prices of building materials have gone up.
While the inflation increase does look high, it's compared to July 2020, when much of the country and the world was shut down.
I do think that you can trace a lot of this back to COVID.
BMO's chief economist says production and supply for many goods is still lagging behind the pandemic's pent-up demand.
A broader story, and I think what a lot of people missed, are just some of the supply constraints that we're seeing.
It's all through the chain, eh?
It's all through the chain.
Back at the lot, Renville gives up on today's auction.
There's no more cars I'm looking at here. I'm done.
Now, he likely has more days like this ahead. The Bank of Canada is predicting inflation will average around 3% for the rest of the year. That's above its 2% target, but likely not high enough to raise red flags or interest rates, at least not yet. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
While those inflation numbers dominated headlines, federal leaders also tackled other election promises on day 4 of their campaigns.
Canada's Conservatives will clean up the culture of entitlement plaguing the Trudeau government.
Conservative leader Erin O'Toole used the SNC-Lavalin and We charity controversies to take aim at the Liberal Party, promising to tackle corruption in Ottawa with new legislation that would close loopholes in government lobbying.
It's clear we need more people and more resources to fight these wildfires and keep communities safe.
And Justin Trudeau made his first campaign stop in Vancouver, pledging $500 million towards firefighting efforts as hundreds of fires continue to burn in BC. Trudeau says the money will help train 1,000 new firefighters and buy more firefighting equipment.
This is Justin Trudeau's housing crisis. Over the past 6 years, things have just gotten so much worse.
And that is NDP leader Jagmeet Singh, also in BC, saying his party has a plan for Canada's skyrocketing housing market. Singh says if elected, he will slap a 20% tax on foreign buyers and promises to build 500,000 affordable homes over the next 10 years.
Well, we learned more today about how exactly the pandemic will affect this election, including where and maybe how you'll cast your vote. Evan Dyer takes us through the changes this year and what it could all mean for election night itself.
We are confident that we will have the public safety measures in place so people can participate, but there's certainly a lot of concerns.
COVID numbers are climbing again, and so is public anxiety, according to polls. But the election is going ahead anyway.
Whether you mail in your ballot or head to the polls in person, make sure you make your voice heard. Have your say.
18 million people voted in the 2019 federal election, very few of them using mail-in ballots. This year, Elections Canada expects at least 2.3 million to vote that way, even if COVID is well under control. If there's a strong fourth wave and lockdowns, that number could rise to 5 million. That has consequences for the individual voter who needs to act earlier if they want to vote by mail.
It's also important to note that by law, electors who apply to vote by mail cannot simply change their mind later on and vote another way.
When a person applies to vote by mail, they're struck off the list of people who can vote in person. They can still vote on the day if they have to, though, by swearing an oath.
Now, I know that Canadians are used to getting complete results on election night.
With perhaps 100 times more mail-in ballots than the last election, counting is going to take a while.
In most locations, this should be done within 2 days, but in some districts, it could take as long as 5 days, depending on the volume and the distribution.
Elections Canada promises twice daily updates as the count proceeds. A COVID wave could bring other problems too, as it did in Newfoundland and Labrador's election in March, when poll workers refused to show up. Polling stations will have COVID measures, including a new pencil for every voter. They could also be in unfamiliar locations this year, as some traditional venues, particularly schools, may not be available. Evan Dyer, CBC News, Chelsea, Quebec.
Well, Major General Danny Fortin was charged today with 1 count of sexual assault months after the government removed him as head of its vaccine rollout.
For the past 3 months, my family and I have been living this nightmare of not knowing the nature of the allegation, not knowing the status of the investigation.
Fortin said he will vigorously defend himself against the alleged offense, which dates back 33 years. He has also taken the government to court, claiming it ignored due process when it fired him in order to bolster its image of fighting misconduct in the military. On the campaign trail today, our Ashley Burke questioned the defense minister about his record on that file.
You have had 6 years as a defense minister to take action on this. Why did you not start this earlier? It's been 6 years.
No, first of all, this was started from day one. And we've been working very hard. And I wish transformative change can actually happen afterwards. We know that when it comes to 10, 20, 30 years ago, the climate that was there, something that I've personally seen, that it does take time.
The case of Danny Fortin, just one of several involving the Canadian Forces. Former Chief of the Defence Staff Jonathan Vance is charged with obstruction of justice related to an ongoing investigation into allegations of sexual misconduct, and his replacement, Admiral Art MacDonald, remains on administrative leave after an investigation into separate allegations ended with no charges laid.
Now, in Afghanistan, witnesses say at least 3 people were killed when Taliban enforcers opened fire on protesters in the city of Jalalabad. The protesters were trying to replace a Taliban banner with the Afghan flag, and a Taliban militant accused them of making trouble. That confrontation came as Taliban leaders talked to senior Afghan officials about setting up a new government. Now, Canada says tonight it will resume military flights for those wanting to escape Afghanistan. There is no schedule yet for the flights, and they will continue only as long as security conditions permit. But as Stephen D'Souza tells us, flights aren't the only challenge facing those trying to flee.
The last few days have been filled with anxious moments for Sangin Abdul Mateen, trying to reach friends and family in Kabul. In that video of desperate Afghans trying to flee, he recognized family and fellow interpreters.
I said, listen, guys, I saw you in the video. Why would you guys do this? We were so scared, and we didn't know what to do. We could just do anything possible to go out of the country.
He settled in Canada in 2012 after 7 years working with the Canadian Forces. Many of the interpreters he worked with are now stuck in hiding as the Taliban take over.
We don't know what to do right now.
We reached one interpreter in Kabul for the last month. We won't use his name. He says there's been problems processing their paperwork, though it hasn't been a problem for some.
Some guys from the Kandahar and from the Kabul, without filling any forms, they are right now in Canada. We don't know how it's possible.
Stephen Watt is leading a group of volunteers who guide people through the immigration bureaucracy.
The idea that they would have the ability of, say, a middle-class Canadian to go to the office, fill out a bunch of PDFs, put their signatures on, it would be farcical if it weren't their reality.
The Prime Minister, who's committed to bringing 20,000 Afghans to Canada, says paperwork is not the holdup.
The limiting factor on getting people out of Afghanistan right now is people being unable to get to the airport.
Abdul Mateen has family sleeping on the street outside the airport right now. They have Canadian government approval, but no word on a flight.
The Canada program is just stopped, and the situation is really hard in here.
With gunfire echoing outside the airport, his family is pleading for help.
We helped Canada in Afghanistan when they were in Afghanistan. This is the time to help us.
A plea they hope is heard before it's too late. Stephen D'Souza, CBC News, Oshawa, Ontario.
There is another story unfolding here on a much larger scale. The Taliban's return to power could have an impact beyond its borders, and key players in the region are thought to have a hand in what happens next. Thomas Daigle guides us through a web of international intrigue.
This is what the Taliban want the world to see. Their long-exiled de facto leader, Abdul Ghani Baradar, returning to Afghanistan, ostensibly to a warm welcome. A key negotiator, he'll have major influence over how the group will govern this time. Though it seems some aspects aren't up for discussion.
The system of the government is clear. That is an Islamic government. Sharia law would be, of course, there would be no democratic system at all.
There's a sense of deja vu and dread for Afghanistan. Just listen to the cries outside the airport gates in Kabul. When the Taliban ruled in the 90s, only 3 countries recognized their government: Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Pakistan. This time, there are signs heavyweights Russia and China are considering support too. Both have kept their embassies open and have held direct talks with the Taliban.
It will encourage and embolden them. Russia and China really are crucial for the Taliban to be able to operate on the world stage. They're both members of the UN Security Council.
Influencing the Taliban could mean even greater reach for China and Russia. They fear an increased risk of terrorist attacks at home. So does the West.
Will not tolerate a government that allows Afghanistan to once again become a safe haven for terrorists.
Pakistan is seeing crowds of Afghans rush to the border, and experts aren't believing that country's denials.
This notion that Pakistan is financing the Taliban and Pakistan is supporting the Taliban, it is a misnomer.
Fact is, the so-called new Taliban appear to rely on foreign fighters, and questions persist about foreign funding as well. The Taliban make hundreds of millions off opium and the drug trade, but could run into trouble now in government.
It's almost a certainty that donor aid will decline. It's almost a certainty that the assets will be frozen, and that's going to lead to deterioration in the macroeconomic environment.
More evacuation flights are getting out now, but too few for everyone who wants to leave, fearful of what this latest Taliban regime will bring. Thomas Daigle, CBC News, Toronto.
Back in this country, the extradition hearing for Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou has ended. Canada detained her more than 2.5 years ago on behalf of the United States, which wants to try Meng for fraud. A judgment on her extradition is potentially months away, and appeals could stretch it years beyond that. Meng's arrest is thought to be why China arrested and charged Canadians Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig, who've now been held for nearly 1,000 days.
Singer R. Kelly's federal trial got underway in a New York courtroom today. For more than 2 decades, he has been the subject of multiple lawsuits and allegations of sexual misconduct. Eli Glasner now with what's at stake this time.
I believe I can fly. At the height of his fame, R. Kelly was considered the king of R&B. Songs like I Believe I Can Fly and Bump and Grind were at the top of the charts. This morning in Brooklyn, Kelly's representatives were doing the talking.
We're preparing and we're ready to go.
Defending the 54-year-old on federal charges of racketeering, running a criminal enterprise, and violating anti-human trafficking laws. In court, Robert Sylvester Kelly looked on as the prosecutor described him as a predator who used his fame, popularity, and a network of people to target girls and boys for his own sexual gratification.
That has never been said in court before.
Jim DeRogatis has been investigating and writing about Kelly for 2 decades.
I think it will be impossible to discount those women as liars or gold diggers. they are finally having their voices heard.
Kelly was tried in 2008 on child pornography charges, but acquitted due to insufficient evidence. With the racketeering charges this time, prosecutors have a much wider scope.
They are going back to the first victims in 1991 for the first time since R. Kelly illegally married and began sexual contact with Aaliyah in 1994.
Black women don't get... And since the last time, the Surviving R. Kelly documentary series and the Mute R. Kelly movement have kept the pressure on.
The public discourse around R. Kelly's behavior has changed. He is no longer the king of R&B. He is a sexual predator who can sing.
While R. Kelly continues to deny all charges, he also continues streaming to millions of fans monthly. And as the trial continues in Brooklyn, is just the first of a number of cases against Kelly as more women step up to tell their stories. Eli Glasser, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, voters in Nova Scotia surprised almost everyone, sweeping the incumbent Liberals out of power.
I think if there's a lesson, it's that campaigns matter.
Up next, what it means and doesn't mean for the upcoming federal election.
And later, a mission to elevate the food he knows best.
I can do more than just cook it for you. I can explain it to you.
Coming up, a Canadian chasing Michelin star dreams in New York.
And
I'm not going to lie, I am worried about the local increase in cases.
Why a vaccine mandate for Ontario teachers does not go far enough for some. We are back in 2.
It just made me angry, honestly. I couldn't believe the gall of whoever put this together.
That is just part of the criticism mounting for Ontario's Progressive Conservative Party after sending out fundraising letters that look a lot more like a bill. The letter does call for a donation, but concerns are growing that the invoice-like page could trick people into thinking they owed the party money.
Well, Nova Scotia's PCs are catching their breath today after a dramatic come-from-behind win yesterday. They pushed the sitting party out of power, a first for a pandemic provincial election. And as Chris O'Neill Yates shows us, it is something the federal parties are paying attention to.
I work in healthcare, so, we're short-staffed in our department.
Barb Goodwin and her husband Michael say the province is in a healthcare crisis. Premier designate Tim Houston campaigned on that message with a laser focus.
I think he struck a chord with the voters about healthcare.
The PC's promised to run a deficit to finally fix the system. It's a message that paid off with a majority win.
Well, a lot of times the new government comes in and says, gee, we didn't know it was so bad. No, we've been up front. It is bad. It's going to take money.
Ian Rankin tried to parlay the incumbent Liberals' successful pandemic record into a third consecutive mandate.
The Conservatives had the health care, the NDP had affordable housing, and I feel like Rankin didn't really pick like a policy to campaign on, honestly.
It really seemed like Rankin's campaign kind of kept running out of energy. Houston's kept building up steam.
With another election campaign now underway, federal party leaders were watching closely.
What we saw in this election was a liberal government that called an election hoping to find a majority that was surprised to lose that entirely.
It's a sign of a couple of things. Canadians are demanding leadership and a plan for the future. And governments, incumbents, can't just have elections at their own convenience for their own self-interest.
I think if there's a lesson, it's that campaigns matter.
Experts caution against drawing a parallel between the two races.
I don't see necessarily any bounds for O'Toole out of this. I think this is a Nova Scotia specific situation.
Okay, and Chris, part of that situation, so to speak, is that the Nova Scotia PCs are not like the federal Conservatives.
Yes, and throughout the campaign, Houston distanced himself from the federal Conservatives and stressed that he's a progressive Conservative and a red Tory. In fact, his campaign platform was to the left of the Liberals, and it promised much more spending. So for politicians of all stripes who are trying to spin a parallel between the Nova Scotia election and the federal one, this one is proof that no matter how far ahead they are in the polls, that no lead is a safe lead, and that it's the ground game during the campaign that could be the deciding factor on election night.
Okay, Chris, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Google reviews can be make or break for many businesses, but should they be?
The environment is such that cheating, faking reviews, is actually rewarded.
Coming up, a CBC investigation into the business of fake reviews.
But up next, a Canadian chef's mission to take the food he loves to the very highest level.
Welcome back. Let's talk food. For some, sinigang, chicken, adobo, these are average, albeit delicious dinner table dishes. But the Canadian chef you're about to meet wants to take those Filipino flavors out of home kitchens to the highest echelon of restaurant cuisine, a Michelin star. This is a lofty ambition, one that some chefs can spend their whole careers chasing. As Chris Reyes shows us, Jordan Andino is a man on a Michelin mission.
It's a hell of a day.
I know. It's
Friday
good.
afternoon. You're
good
going to be like,
sound
oh, they live in New York.
West Village at a Filipino taqueria called Flip Siggy. A conversation with owner and chef Jordan Andino for 2 hours about why Filipino food, for all its rave reviews, has never been awarded a restaurant's top honor, a Michelin star.
We are so much more than just a simplistic fried pig eating country.
There is a lot of ground to break with Filipino cuisine.
There's so much. We're using the literal intestines where all the nastiness goes. We're eating that, right? As long as it's cleaned properly and done well, it's delicious. Lola.
The grandmother who taught him to cook back in Toronto, his clue to what's kept Filipino food mostly in home kitchens and out of fine dining restaurants.
There's certain things that my Lola has made that I see her do it. It's technically wrong. From like uneven chopped up pieces of garlic with some of the skin still on and the root still there, just throws it in a pot, simmers, and magic.
A kind of magic that Andino says belongs in that elite red book. Only about 2,800 restaurants worldwide have a Michelin star. The criteria: quality of ingredients used, mastery of flavor and technique, and the personality of the chef in the cuisine.
I believe that is actually our biggest asset. We can serve things that none of y'all have ever had.
So you think that the Michelin guides, Eurocentric Michelin guides, don't recognize how refined Filipino food is?
Yeah.
That's your argument?
Yeah, because my goal and all the other chefs my age and younger chefs who are innovating are trying, we want to take those what some would call taboo ingredients and flip them on its head and present them in ways that are both traditional in flavor but worthy of these accolades that we all want. There was a hawker stand that got a Michelin star in Singapore. The second I read that article, I went, Filipino food can get a Michelin star. And I was like, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to be the only one that does it. Or at least the first one.
Inside his popular fast casual eatery, Andino is quick to admit that his offerings are not quite Michelin worthy yet. But it is all part of his master plan.
The purpose of this is to just be the introduction to Filipino cuisine for anyone who's never had it.
His goal to have a wide audience rhyming off Filipino staples.
Sinigang is basically a tamarind-based soup that's typically made with like short rib.
He let me try a Flip Siggy favorite, sinigang bowl.
It's not just because it's for TV, that's
At the opening of his second restaurant in Jersey City, he's amassed a growing group of fans for Filipino favorites.
We need more people to try longanisa. That's what we need.
I love chicken adobo. He's actually taught me how to make it.
I'm Chef Jordan Andino, and I'm traveling across North America.
Flip Siggy is star-making for Andino, a launchpad for his thriving TV and content career. He reps Filipino food hard on big American TV shows. On Instagram with almost 100,000 followers, with celebrities like Selena Gomez. All of it, clout and capital, he says he's using to fund the Michelin menu he's developing in his home kitchen.
I'm 75% of the way there, and I have a lot of, let's call them, ammunition to give to the culinary world. The second I find a way to do diniguan in a refined way, it'll change the culinary landscape. Because they're gonna go, he just turned pig blood into this broth, and he mixed it with ginger, and also he put some like fish sauce in there, and this dark mushroom soy that's fermented differently. Look how good that looks. Yeah, buddy.
Andino's not shy to tell you why he thinks he's the guy to get that first Michelin star.
I can do more than just cook it for you. I can explain it to you. I can break it down for people who don't understand cuisine or food. I can articulate it, and that's what we need. I dream big, and we need a champion, right?
Thank you all for supporting Flip Siggy. We really appreciate it.
Is a hype man the missing ingredient for a cuisine already complete in flavor? Andino is willing to bet his career on it if it means giving his beloved Filipino food the spotlight it deserves. Krish Reyes, CBC News, New York.
Who's hungry?
Definitely me.
Okay, well, Canada's women's soccer gold continues to sparkle and inspire.
Breathtaking. Unreal.
Coming up, a triumphant homecoming and what it means for a younger generation.
But up next, the truth behind Google reviews and the business of faking them.
Welcome back. These days, lots of people rely on Google reviews for intel, right, before buying online from a business. So there's no denying the power of good and bad reviews. But in this story we first brought you in May, Jonathan Gatehouse explores the business behind faking those reviews.
Chris Pereira runs a Winnipeg moving company, a physical hands-on job. But these days it's the online world that has him concerned, after he noticed that his customer reviews had turned heavily negative.
We were getting reviews from absurd names, a play on my name, a play on my boss's name.
Dozens of bad, often hostile reviews that pop up when you Google the company's name. None of them from actual customers. He couldn't figure out why it was happening, but the made-up complaints were having a real effect on the company's reputation and its Google ranking.
Before we started getting a whole bunch of negative reviews, we were 4.6 range. Now we're all the way down to 3.6 with all these harmful fake reviews that we've been getting.
It's important because surveys show that more than 2/3 of online shoppers consult reviews before buying a product or service. And Google's star ratings for businesses hold the biggest sway, with the company now accounting for about 90% of all search engine traffic worldwide. Put simply, negative reviews can hobble a business, while positive ones can make consumers up to 3 times more likely to make a purchase.
I'm here to tell you the online review world is the Wild West, and there is no sheriff.
Kay Dean once worked as a fraud investigator for the US government. Now she uses that expertise to track and expose fake online reviews, sharing her findings on her own YouTube channel.
All of this fake review fraud that I've been documenting on this YouTube channel is harmful.
The environment is such that cheating, faking reviews, is actually rewarded, and honest businesses actually suffer tremendously from it.
Some of the deceptions are low stakes, but others might matter. She points to a Florida plastic surgeon with a lot of 5-star Google reviews, many from profiles that also gave positive ratings to an overlapping group of businesses scattered across the United States and Canada.
10 of this surgeon's supposed patients also went to the same pizza place in Toronto, or 6 used the same limo service in Ontario, or 3 use the same wig store in Ontario. And so that's immediately suspicious. It's just not believable.
CBC News dug a little deeper. In the case of the Toronto area wig store, every 5-star review posted over the past 6 months came from these linked profiles, including testimonials claiming to be from cancer patients who had lost their hair during chemotherapy. One supposed cancer patient used an image of a dead American civil rights icon. Another, a photo of a Chicago woman who tells CBC News that she's not a customer, has never even been to Toronto, and isn't ill.
It's my belief that the profiles are just fake and that the photos are just lifted off the internet.
Dean has uncovered multiple Facebook groups where fake Google reviews, both positive and negative, are openly bought and sold, made to order with names and details to sound authentic. Case in point, a service in Bangladesh that takes orders from all over the world.
The Bangladeshi review broker was providing the texts of the fake reviews that he wanted the individual Bangladeshi review providers, people just making a little money, in this case 83 cents, to provide for the businesses. So it was all open and flagrant. The text of the reviews and where to be posted.
By tracing reviews from that one Toronto wig store, CBC News uncovered a web of 3,574 fake reviews left by 208 accounts for 1,279 different businesses. In fact, fake reviews have become an industry. For a fee, services will make sure your business has a steady stream of impressive reviews. And all those negative ones? Well, those fix-it firms will help with that too. Pay them and they'll make them go away. Something that only Google, or the person who posted them, is supposed to have the power to do.
I was a consultant for Google, helped them strategically move their products forward and position things to the market.
But I left the Valley at large.
Joe Toscano worked with Google in experience design, but quit in 2017 over worries about big tech's ethics. Now he writes and lectures about data protection and the effects of social media.
It's time that we demand that we own our data and have a fundamental human right to understand what we are consenting to.
He has first-hand experience dealing with Google review problems for his parents' Nebraska auto shop. Paid ads appear first on search pages, but negative reviews also alter online results, he says. Google's algorithm favors companies with the most stars, pushing their listings up higher. And most searchers never make it to the second page.
If you're a 4.6 out of 5 versus a 3.6 out of 5, that's a dramatic difference. If they're pushed off the first page, say goodbye. Like, you never see that company.
Chris Pereira tried repeatedly to get Google to do something about the fake reviews that were dragging down the moving company's ratings, providing more than a dozen examples.
Accusing us of hate, and that's just not who we are.
Half of those fake reviews have since disappeared, but new ones pop up on an almost weekly basis. Pereira grew so frustrated that he set out to see just what it takes to get Google to pull down a review.
So I created a fake Google account, wrote a bad review on the company, flagged it as a bad fake review, and Google didn't contact this account, didn't look into it whatsoever, and said it didn't violate any of their policies. You click on this, you report it, they do nothing.
They want to tell us that they are going to make an algorithm that's going to deal with it, and the reality is the algorithms aren't ready for it. We need more humans involved.
We reached out to Google's Canadian representatives. They declined an interview but provided a statement. Our systems check every single review before it gets published, looking for signs of inauthentic content, it reads. While we're constantly improving our automated systems, we know they're not perfect. Google says they blocked or removed 56 million fake reviews in 2020, deleted 3.3 million fake business profiles, and suspended 610,000 user accounts. And after CBC News told them about Chris Pereira's troubles, 32 fake negative reviews were suddenly removed. And Riverbend Moving's Google rating went from 3.6 to 4.2 stars overnight. We also spoke to the owner of the Toronto area wig store about their fake Google testimonials, a problem so widespread that CBC News has decided not to single out the firm. She admitted to having hired a search engine optimization company to boost her results, an expensive but necessary investment, she argues, to help keep her small business afloat during COVID-19 shutdowns.
SEO companies are supposed to help you.
Yeah.
But and you pay them. You know how much SEO companies make on a monthly basis? You can pay them up to $8,000 a month.
Wow.
That's a lot of money.
Joe Toscano says it's time for governments and the courts to step up and hold big tech accountable.
It's a hack in the system. It's cheating. And in my opinion, it should be enforced by law.
But if that doesn't happen, Kay Dean has a different solution for Google and other sites full of fake reviews.
So I would say, actually, if you can't police it and do it well, get out of the review business.
Meanwhile, small businesses like the one Chris Pereira manages end up stuck in the middle.
We're screaming at nothing. We need to be heard, and no one's listening to us.
Something to keep in mind the next time you consider an online review before spending your money. Jonathan Gatehouse, CBC News, Toronto.
With back to school just weeks away, if you can believe it, there are concerns about what a fourth wave could mean for students.
So we could reach a situation where it rapidly gets out of control if we don't tighten up measures early.
Up next, why some say the vaccine policy for Ontario teachers has left schools vulnerable. Americans will soon be able to get their COVID-19 booster shots. They will be made available as early as next month for people who received both doses of the Pfizer or Moderna vaccines. U.S. President Joe Biden says it is the best way for people to protect themselves from new variants. The plan is not without controversy. Scientists from the World Health Organization argue many countries do not have enough supply to give people their first doses. Now, back here in Canada, the debate over mandatory vaccines continues. With kids heading back to school in a matter of weeks, teachers in Ontario will have to show proof of vaccination or get tested regularly for COVID-19. As Deanna Sumanak-Johnson reports, there are concerns that is not enough.
For this mom, fears about the start of school next month were eased today. Her youngest son, who's turning 12 later this year, finally became eligible to get his COVID-19 shot.
We got Walter vaccinated this morning as soon as we possibly could, and I feel much safer about him going back to school, having that level of protection, and that the teachers now are required to make every effort to get their vaccinations makes me really happy.
But for those whose kids are too young to be vaccinated, worries persist, especially as stories continue of the highly contagious Delta variant sweeping through unvaccinated groups, like kids in American schools.
I'm looking forward to a sense of normalcy and routine for myself and my husband and our family in general. But I'm not going to lie, I am worried about the local increase in cases locally in the Windsor-Essex County District Health Unit and also across the province.
Ontario teachers now have to prove they're vaccinated or get tested. It was welcome news for many parents, but the union representing teachers who work with young, mostly unvaccinated kids says their members feel it's insufficient.
They told us they don't think it's unreasonable for this government to have it be mandated, and that having it voluntary under these circumstances doesn't go far enough.
This emergency physician agrees, but says other measures will help protect students.
I see in Ontario we might be in a better position because masks are required in schools, but other provinces are not requiring them, such as Quebec, for instance. So we could reach a situation where it rapidly gets out of control if we don't tighten up measures early.
But even with the risks, it seems most families are eager to get their kids back in class. In Ontario's largest school board here in Toronto, 86% of families have opted for in-person learning for their child this fall. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, Canadian soccer player Desiree Scott touched down in her home city yesterday.
Breathtaking.
Yeah.
Like, unreal.
Some local fans could hardly contain their excitement to meet the Olympian. Her homecoming is next in our moment.
This election, your vote matters. CBC News is here to provide you with the election tools you need to make an informed decision. Informed by you. Canada Votes 2021.
When Olympic gold medal winner Desiree Scott arrived in her home city of Winnipeg last night, she stopped by a local beer garden for a meet and greet with some fans. And, as you might imagine, among them, many young soccer players who turned out in droves for a chance to show their appreciation for their favorite player. The community's love and excitement is tonight's moment.
Huge fans. We were at our brother and sister-in-law's cabin, and we used all their Wi-Fi up to make sure we could watch the game. We found out about this 15 minutes before. We ran to the neighbor's house, piled kids in the van, drove here, and we wouldn't miss it.
I think it's really cool that I get to meet someone in the Olympics. My name's Luke, I'm 6, and it's like almost same as Molly. It's really cool meeting a soccer player. Seeing Desiree, I get jitters.
Coming back to my hometown to be surrounded by family and friends, just celebrating this moment, it's incredible. People are just so supportive of my career. When you're in Tokyo, we had no fans there. I was mentioning retirement perhaps, but then after a moment like this, I don't know. So happy that the Beer Can hosted this event tonight. Thank you to them. And it just feels like home. Coming back home is always so special for me, surrounded by some incredible people, some supportive fans, and I'm relishing in all the moments and really enjoying myself.
Okay, very glad to hear she's reconsidering retirement.
Right.
Okay, Rio, London, Tokyo, you are definitely needed, Desiree, in Paris 2024.
Yeah, no kidding. And, gotta say, I mean, clearly someone like her, a full-time player, right? But it just goes to show you also a full-time ambassador, right?
Absolutely.
A full-time role model. And it's something that she and so many Olympians that I've met wear so well. So, hey, congrats on that. That's The National for this August 18th. Have a great night.
Good night.